John Harbaugh continues to make changes to the New York Football Giants in the front office and more moves to the coaching staff that we got to talk about on today's show as you're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Marshall Green. Adam Schefter breaking the news this morning. We kind of told you guys about a couple of days ago. Shout out to Jordan On, shout out to Bobby Skinner. Kind of the first on this, saying the Giants are hiring NFL executive Dawn Aponte as a senior vice president in football operations. Aponte has been with the league since 2017 as the chief administrator of football operations. She also has previous experience working on the team side with the Dolphins, Browns, and Jets. This is a big move for the New York Giants. You usually don't see them bring outsiders of the organization and put them into positions of power right away. We saw that the New York Giants moved on from Kevin Abrams a couple of weeks ago. We knew a spot was open, and it sounds like Aponte is going to fill those shoes. She has been in the National Football League dating all the way back to 1994 when she was an accountant with the New York Jets. Actually went to college for accounting and was working in the accounting field before switching over to the New York Jets. She was there from 1994 to 2005, wearing different hats, accountant and salary cap analyst and pro personnel assistant, then moved up to a manager of football administration, then a senior director of football administration, then started to work for the actual National Football League. Did 2 years there as the vice president of labor finance, then moved on to the Cleveland Browns, where she was the vice president of football administration, then the Miami Dolphins from 2010 to 2016. Actually, some overlap with Joe Schoen there in Miami. And then, since 2017, she has been with the National Football League as a chief administrator of football operations, and now she is joining the New York Giants as a senior vice president of football operations. And this is a hire that will report directly to John Harbaugh. Not someone that reports to Joe Schoen. They report to Harbaugh. And Harbaugh reports to the bosses. So we're starting to see what this organization, especially in the front office, is going to look like and who the guy in charge is. She is going to be the Kevin Abrams replacement, who has been with the Giants for 20-plus years. He was their lead negotiator in contract negotiations, and he was the guy that dealt with the salary cap. That is where Aponte is going to be stepping in, known as a salary cap guru, dealing with it on a team side as well as an NFL side. And if you go back to when she first started with the Jets, she began with the Jets prior to the NFL salary cap even being a thing. So she has been in the league since the salary cap was birthed and knows a lot about it. She actually interviewed for the New York Jets general manager job last offseason, and there was some interest there. Didn't materialize into a job, but this isn't the first NFL team, and hopefully it is the last NFL team, but I wouldn't be shocked if there are more teams wanting her services down the road in various positions. The question now is, what does this mean for Joe Schoen? Do I think Aponte is essentially going to start wearing the hat of the general manager? I guess TBD on that. I don't expect that, at least in year one. I think Joe Schoen is going to be the general manager through free agency, through the NFL draft, and I would expect him to be here for the 2026 season as well. But I think we all can start to smell what is cooking, which is Joe Schoen's power being relinquished a little bit in this organization. I'm curious to see how she changes the New York Giants strategy when it comes to contracts, when it comes to negotiations, and especially when it comes to void years. She should know, and she does know, all of the tricks of the trade, all of the ways to walk through the salary cap, through the hidden doors that every other good team is using. Void years, dipping into even future cap money. Everyone knows. She specifically knows what's going to happen in the NFL salary cap 5 years from now. It's time for the Giants to start playing ball. I think Aponte is going to start doing it. And this is what fires me up the most about the John Harbaugh hire. We talked about you go from a Joe Schoen organization to a John Harbaugh organization. And we all talked about how good of a head coach he is. We know how good of a head coach that John Harbaugh is. But what has excited me the most is what he can do for the Giants in the front office, what he could do for the Giants as an organization. Be that face, be the person in power and get this organization off the losing train tracks, the tracks they've been on since, 2014? At this point, he's going to continue to make changes in the front office. This is the first major move. I think there are more moves coming. There's also moves coming on the coaching staff that we got to talk about. An O-line coach, maybe a new QB coach, a lot more. But I want to let you know today is the last day to get your Giants Now married into this gear. We've got t-shirts, we've got sweatshirts, and if you get it today is the last day, you save yourself $5, and it will arrive before Valentine's Day. You never want to be the person that buys a gift that shows up after the big day. Go to chatsports.com/GiantsVDay and use the code VDay5 to save yourself $5. If you're bringing a girlfriend into this Giants fandom or a wife into it, or if you're a lovely lady watching the show and you just want to get yourself some awesome Giants Now gear, it's chatsports.com/GiantsVDay. Get it today, save $5, use this promo code, and it'll show up by Valentine's Day. Art Stapleton tweeting out, sounds like Juan Castillo is strongly in play to become the Giants offensive line coach per sources. Was with John Harbaugh in Baltimore and served as Matt Nagy's offensive line coach when they were together in Chicago. Would also reunite with assistant O-line coach Grant Newsome together at Michigan. We learned that Newsome was going to be the assistant O-line coach a couple of days ago, and it sounds like the Giants could be landing on Castillo as the head O-line coach. Shout out to my guy Monty on Twitter. Go give him a follow. He was on this from the jump. Says the hires so far scream Juan Castillo as the offensive line coach. Worked with John Harbaugh in Philly and in Baltimore. Worked with Matt Nagy in Philly and Chicago. And assistant O-line coach Grant Newsome worked with Castillo at Michigan. We always bring up coaches and their prior history, their coaching resume, and I have not seen a resume that is more interesting than Castillo's. From 1998 to 2010, he was the Eagles' offensive line coach. And then in 2011, 2012, he was the Eagles' defensive coordinator. He goes from being the O-line coach for 12 years to flipping to the defensive side of the ball and becomes their defensive coordinator. Then he was the run game coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens in 2013. He was promoted to the Ravens offensive line coach from 2014 to 16. Then moved on to the Bills offensive line coach as well as run game coordinator in 2017. Did that for 2 years. Then he teamed up with Matt Nagy in Chicago. He was the O-line coach for 2020 and 2021. And then his last stop at the NFL was in 2023 as the Commanders run game coordinator. He was the Syracuse offensive line coach this past year, a senior assistant O-line coach at the University of Michigan in 2025, and he was the UCLA offensive line coach in 2024. Look, long history in the NFL, some with connections. I would not be shocked if this is the official move. And I don't know if this will be a move where he only wears the hat of the O-line coach, or does he also wear a second hat of being the run game coordinator as well? I think that is a much-needed position for the New York Giants after they hired Matt Nagy as their offensive coordinator. The data suggests that when Nagy is in control of the offense, the run game is not going to be top tier outside of 1 year, 2017, with the Kansas City Chiefs. Run game coordinator's big, whether that's Castillo, whether you bring in Greg Roman, you bring in somebody. Willie Taggart goes to that, I'm not so sure. You need someone that has had success running the rock in this league before doing that job, and I'm hoping the Giants figure it out. Jordan Schultz reporting this. Sources, the Ravens will not retain quarterback coach T. Martin under the new coaching staff. A massive change as the well-respected Martin has been in Baltimore since 2021 and is one of the people closest to Lamar Jackson within the organization. This is big news, obviously, because he has ties to John Harbaugh, being with Baltimore since 2021. But it was reported that Martin was going to stay with the Baltimore Ravens, and that is no longer the case. Could he find himself as the quarterback coach for the New York Giants? Could he maybe be the wide receiver coach for the New York Giants? He has that history, and he has that relationship with John Harbaugh, played college quarterback at Tennessee. He's had some experience in the NFL prior to the Ravens as well, college as well. I would not be shocked if T. Martin finds himself on the Giants coaching staff. We also might see the Giants lose a coach on the defensive side of the ball. Mike Garafolo reporting the Arizona Cardinals have requested to interview Charlie Bullan for their defensive coordinator position. Bullan was an in-house candidate for the Giants and one of the few assistants retained on John Harbaugh's coaching staff. He also interviewed for the Giants DC position. So Bullan is expected to be the outside linebacker coach for the New York Giants, but with an opportunity to potentially go be the Arizona Cardinals defensive coordinator, he could be leaving this team, which would mean someone else would have to fill that position. Still a lot of moving pieces on this coaching staff. Harbaugh still has work to do, and I'm excited to see how he fills out the rest of the staff. Appreciate everybody for tuning into today's video. For the most up-to-date Giants news and rumors, give me a follow on social media.